What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dickie and Donny Show, presented by me, Donny, and them. That guy is Dickie. So, welcome to the Dickie and Donny Show, presented by Business on Purpose. At Business on Purpose, we exist to liberate business owners from chaos. Typically, we find that chaos in the 4 Ps, or the 4 pain points of business, which is people, purpose, process, and profit. So, if you've come to us today down the floating river of business chaos and you found yourself here, welcome. Remember when our editor said he wanted a consistent intro every time?
And we told him we always do it the same way, so why would he need that?
And then I just do something like that, which, by the way, if this is your first time that we don't do it that way, you can listen to any of the other ones.
I'm pretty sure that was consistent, but I mean,
the first 10% of it was the river of chaos is a new thing. So
I think what I should do is I should give you a prompt, and that should be an animal, a sport, some kind of funny word, and you've got to weave it into the intro in a certain way.
Okay, let's redo it. Give me the prompt right now. Let's redo it in front of the people.
This
appropriately
is,
unprepared.
Squeezy Toy, one of my clients, Burton Oil, based out of Tyler, Texas. They do good work in the Permian Basin. Why don't you use the word squeezy toy in an intro? I don't know if you like Harry Mack. I believe you also have an affinity for Harry Mack with me. The guy is a freaking legend.
And I love freestyling, and I love to freestyle. I'm not good, but I enjoy the act. So, all right, let's re-record it. And this time I'm going to include the word squeezy toy. So,
okay, let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dickie and Donny Show, presented by Business on Purpose. We exist to liberate business owners from chaos. My name is Brandon, or Donny, and this is my co-host, Shawn, Dickie, Stinson, and we are two business coaches, and that's exactly what we do. We exist to liberate business owners from chaos. We do that by leveraging our operating system, where we've dialed in the 4 pain points of a business: purpose, people, process, and profit. I don't know what brought you here today, but the techniques of finding vices to remove the chaos, whether it's squeezing a squeezy toy, whether it's drinking from an empty bottle, whatever it could be, whatever it might be, there's a better solution. And it's bringing in a third-party voice to help give you the outside clarity of what it could actually look like to defend against the chaos, whether that's having proactive systems to function and structure your people's job roles. Whatever it might be, we are here. We don't care how you got here. The problem for you is that you're here and you have to listen to us, and you get to listen to us because what Dickie is bringing today is life-changing. Maybe it's good stuff. Possibly. So get rid of the squeezy toys, bring in the third-party advisor. They're similar pricings depending on the price of your squeezy toy.
Squeezy toy is a 64 cents all in with the...
We are more expensive than that.
We are more expensive than 64 cents, yes. But
there's no child labor involved with us.
But the value you get is priceless. You cannot get what you get from us from a squeezy toy.
There's not a single squeezy toy in my house that my 2-year-old has not taken a bite out of.
Dude, this one, so I'm kind of losing the back part of the truck here, but I don't know if you know this, but during all my meetings, I play with a squeezy toy under the desk because I'm so fidgety. Like if you see me on a coaching call, I am the fidgetiest person. I just don't sit still. What do you do with that?
There's a little master's putter, and you can do a lot. It like fits between the fingers. I can like hit my hand. I can do this. I can do a lot.
Are you using that during your calls all the time? Do you
play with it? I just play with it. Like I fidget with it underneath the desk. I do you can't see it. I do this a lot from like the underneath my desk while I'm talking, while I'm thinking. I just hit it against my hand because you can't hear it. I do a lot with it. I also can grab something and bring it closer to me. And it's a great memory because
I also told you this. I'll also use my pointer finger to trace the outline of my thumb. So you'll see me if I'm thinking in a meeting, I'm actually doing this weird OCD type of thing.
Never seen that act from anybody.
No, it's weird. I like trace my thumbnail with my pointer finger, and I feel totally creepy now that I'm telling you this, but the world should know. I mean, the world needs to know these
We all
things.
have our ticks when we're focusing on something. And like, even now I'm realizing I'm hitting the back of my leg with this putter, and the amount of times I do this a day. Like the amount of times I do exactly what I'm doing right now, but I don't think about it till right now. So I do. This is a toy for me.
So there's one thing that we need to know as we talk about the 6 areas of a leader's health, and that is...
Yeah. By the way, that's the topic for today.
That is a quote from Michael Hyatt. And Michael Hyatt says that there are 3 forces that shape our character: the inputs we consume, the relationships we pursue, and the weird habits we acquire by squeezing
So
toys,
the
playing with
inputs,
putters,
the
the inputs we consume, the
yes,
relationships we pursue, and
yeah,
the habits we acquire are three forces that shape us as people and as leaders. I've got kids that are in high school and middle school, and this is one of the biggest things we're working with them right now to say, hey, the people you surround yourself with have a large impact on who you're becoming as a person. So
you're the average of the
not that
five.
your goal isn't to just cut people out, but you do need to be aware that the people you spend time with have a significant impact on your character, person, who you're becoming. So yeah,
Yeah, I've heard a couple things. I've heard you show me your friends, I'll show you your future. I've heard that one.
that's cute.
I've heard from Jim Rohn was spot on when he said you're the average of the five, and he's talking about you're the average of the five. You name it of whatever you're around. You're the average of the five podcasts. You're the average of the five movies. You're the average of the five books. But you're the average of the five friends that you're around. And when you think about that, you're like, well, they're all worse than me. Nope, you're the average. We
Mm.
actually, Dickie, I don't know if you've done this. This is a part of, and this wasn't in my hiring process, but since I've been hired, it's been added. This is in the Business on Purpose hiring process for bringing in a new coach. This question is asked. If I were to go to dinner with the five people you spend the most time with, would I enjoy myself at that dinner? Would I learn something at that dinner? What would my experience be at that dinner? If I were to go to dinner with the five people you hang out with the most, and
Good
you're
question.
like thinking through it and you're like, well, this guy would teach you something. This guy, you'd get stupider being around him. And you like start thinking through. But it's a great question to get the brain flowing and it speaks volumes of who you spend your time with. So the inputs that you bring, you consume. I'm thinking media, all that stuff. I'm thinking the
Totally.
relationships you spend with and then the habits that are formed from little
Yeah,
putters underneath the desk.
totally. Habits shape you.
Okay.
So there's
Michael
that
Hyatt.
that is one piece of that's Michael Hyatt. He's a leadership
Yeah.
uh blogger. I don't know if you used to watch real blogs back when before there was video and YouTube, it was blogs and RSS feeds. And so he was a guy I followed, the leadership development guy. There are
Yeah, he has a
six.
planner. Michael Hyatt has a daily planner that's
Yes,
caught
he
some good
does.
momentum across the world.
He was a big getting things done guy, that system. If you're familiar with
GTD, baby.
GTD, yeah, you know me. So there are six areas of health in a leader's life, and these are specific to me. They are birthed out of some scientific, what's the word I'm looking for? Some research, and some people have found these to be markers of longevity in leadership and success in life. So I'm going to read them to you.
Yes.
Spiritual vitality, self-care, emotional and cultural intelligence, leadership and management, marriage and family, and finances.
Okay.
So, spiritual vitality, connection to God, connection to spiritual life and something beyond yourself. Self care, how you take care of yourself, nutrition, physical care, energy levels, stress, just a personal engagement in how am I caring for my person individually. Number three, emotional and cultural intelligence. This is where the inputs of Michael Hyatt, the media we consume, the podcast, the shows, our relationships to strangers, our relationships to the news and to the world. How are we as a person engaged in the world around us?
Mm.
Number four, leadership and management. And so this is typically in our work environment. This is in our careers, how we lead, how we manage, how we direct, what we're going for, what's our purpose in the world. Marriage and family, obviously, I spend a significant amount of time with our families, and then finances, which are always fun to figure out.
Always fun to figure out. Yes. Okay. So those are the, remind me and the listeners, those are the six.
Six areas of a person's health. Yeah, so
Okay.
a leader's health.
Okay. So you could, in theory, be in a spectrum of health that accumulates to be your total health, but it's all based on kind of those six. Anything would funnel within one of those.
Yeah, and the way to me, they're all overlapping. And so the marriage
Yeah.
and family circle would overlap leadership and management. If I go to work and I'm in a big frustrating deal with a family member, right? And then I go to work, well, I'm obviously bringing that with me. Or if my finances are totally out of whack and crazy, well, then I'm super stressed at work because I know my work has got to happen to get the finances done. Or if I'm super unhealthy and I'm drinking all the time, eating fatty foods, stuck in like really bad like rhythms of personal
Health.
nutrition and health,
Yeah.
well, then of course that's going to affect my connection to my work and my ability to be attentive to what's good. So they're all overlapping, but generally those are the contexts of
Hmm.
healthy life.
Okay. So what's the application there? And I don't say that flippantly, but okay, I hear that, and that's great. What are there metrics to look at within each one? How would you recommend? Because this is the first time I'm hearing those, because we're very prepared on the show, appropriately unprepared. First time I'm hearing those.
Shout
What do
out
I
to
do
Sam
with
Barber
that?
who loved our quote. We've been trying to do this. Sam Barber listened to the very first or second episode of our podcast.
Welcome, Sam Barber, because I assume
Welcome.
we have you hooked now. So
Yeah, damn Darber. Damn Darbers.
damn.
Should we get Damn Darber on this podcast? I
A
think
thousand
so.
percent. He can hit the first mark of this maturity, or
Uh,
not maturity, health.
where was I go? Oh, he said we've been thinking about doing this podcast for at least a couple minutes now.
He really liked that. Yeah, that's where we're at. But
So you
we
asked me a
should get.
question, where do these come from or what do you do with them? Here's what I do with them. At one point, I haven't done this in a few months. I used to grade myself every month. I had a calendar reminder, and it was to health check the 6 areas of my life. And I would give myself a score from 1 to 10. Yes, I have a problem measuring things and being productive. I clearly have issues. I would give myself a score 1 to 10, and I would journal and write how successful or unsuccessful, what am I seeing in the area of self care? That could be the amount of sugar I'm eating, could be the amount of alcohol I'm drinking, it could be the amount of vegetables I'm consuming. But I'm just kind of trying to get a visibility on how am I doing? I don't know if we always ask ourselves that question, but
No, we ask
how
everybody
is
else often, I
we
think.
ask everybody else, but how am I doing? And I'd spend, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 minutes writing things down. And the goal of that to me was one, can I notice things that are not good? Like, man, that's really not good. I don't like that about me. And I want to make a decision to change it. I'm not committing to a decision yet necessarily, but I'm aware of it now. I see, man, I hadn't spent time with a friend in a minute. I need to be more engaged with some friends and have
So
something to look
good.
forward to. So
So
that's how I
good.
use it.
Yeah, that and you go through all of them in that way. Now, our ideal client are business owners. So you called those of leadership. How would you recommend or how would you coach on that? We're a business coach. Like how do you bring that up to a business owner or if we have the business owner of a large construction company in central Indiana that just happens to be listening to this for the first time. Hopefully I nailed it and if that's you, please reach out. Like what do you do for them when they're like, I mean that's sure that stuff's fine, but how do you coach them through actually utilizing or implementing that?
It's a great question. The way we did it on a summit about 2 hours ago is I asked everyone in that room what major decision they had to make in 2025. So this is a leadership and management
So name one
retreat.
decision. It's great.
I had what major decision did you have to make? And then where were you unhealthy as a leader? So where did you turn into a hero? Where did you turn into a villain? Where did you turn into a victim? And where did you, in the Brene Brown speak, operate with fear controlling you?
Mm,
And where would you have wanted to be a coach, a co-creator, a challenger, and learn and grow into a better leader? So I'd probably start with leadership and management. That's the one that's usually the most available to people. Feel free to, they'll tell you about their finances, they'll tell you about their leadership. They probably don't want to talk about their family and some other things as much. So I
yeah.
want to build the trust to say, hey, we'll help you with everything, but probably the most applicable is
Yeah.
dealing with an employee that's struggling to perform.
Yeah. And I also think, and this is some, I guess, coaching philosophy, but it's just really for us as people, like getting quick wins, the momentum that that brings is huge. I'm thinking as a coach, I was just at lunch with somebody today and, it didn't even really take a question. They knew what we were talking about and they knew who I was and they knew generally what we did. And it's like, so tell me a little bit about your business. Okay, floodgates opened, and it was just this smorgasbord of just like all these different types of chaos. And you're like, okay, well, take all that. What do you want? And he's like, I want it all to be fixed. And you're like, so and this is some coaching philosophy, right? Pulled behind the curtain a little bit. If that guy decides to go with BOP, and I think he will, what we need to make sure is that that guy doesn't go a month without seeing some progress because there's so much breadth of chaos and you think of those six, let's use the reference to those six aspects or marks of leadership or aspects of health within a leadership. Like you take those six, man, I'm going to want to be able, because there are some low hanging fruit and there are some things that are going to take a couple months. Like
Mm.
start with the low hanging fruit so that you feel like something's happening. So we're
Mm.
making some momentum, right? That's the, I'm not going to say positive or negative because I know we have people all over the spectrum, but with Dave Ramsey, when people are just like, I don't know. And you're like, no, his approach to debt, the snowball effect of, yeah, financially it would be best to take out the biggest piece of debt with the highest interest rate, but instead take out the smallest so you see yourself accomplishing thing. Like
Right.
there's a
There's
psychological
psychological
value
perspective.
of just
Yeah.
it, you're right. Financially over term, you might lose a couple $1,000s doing it, but if you're a couple $100,000 in debt, can I get rid of a whole line of credit? Can I get rid of a whole loan? Because
Just
there's the
remove that from your, and that's one of the things that weighs on us as people so much is those open loops. So we've got,
closed
eight,
loops.
you got 8 or 10 different bills to think about. If you can reduce that to two,
Hmm.
then I know I got to pay it on the 5th and the 15th. Boom, done. Way
Close
easier than
the
a
loops.
hundred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even
I'm
if,
not, I hate
yeah,
Dave Ramsey, honestly. I despise the stuff that he does. His principles are excellent. What he advises, I just don't believe him. I think, dude, you made all your money in real estate with debt and with all these other things, went broke, did it again, and now he's advising people not to do what he did. That's ironic, isn't it?
so the approach I had was I'm not going to get into it because we have people all over, and you just said F that.
I
I'm
mean, I'm just telling you where I just
putting
don't think
both my
it's,
boots in this mud. And,
yeah,
and
both in the mud.
I don't know if I know enough about him. I've only ever seen quick little clips on, you call it TikTok, whatever it is, right? And I've just seen like some of the benefits, but I know a little bit of the financial piece system, and I know the approach because when we had college debt, that's how we did it. It was, I took those principles. So I don't know enough about him to get into that, and that is also me being a peacemaker in this moment. So
By the age of 26, he had amassed $4 million of real estate, which is that's fine. Real estate downturn, high risk, bankruptcy in '88, rebuilding
I was
through
making
financial.
$29,000 a year when I was 26 years old, and I also had a ton of debt, and my wife was unemployed. So don't say $4 million is
Dude, I'm not. I'm
please.
just saying like
That's a lot
he's
of money. That's like Donald
okay.
Trump saying, "I when I started out, my dad gave me a small loan of $1 million."
No, I'm saying like he is a huge media personality. You would have thought he would have 4 million seems like, well, that's not that big of a portfolio because of the size of the personality he is now. That's what I mean. Yes, $4 million is a lot of money.
Well, and at 26, it's a lot, but even then,
Yes. So
tell
then
me
he
if I give you
started
$1 million,
his
you're going to take it.
Lampo Group in 1992, now Ramsey Solutions Counseling Services, and then the modern day Dave Ramsey Show books, courses, and speaker revenue. So I don't know. I
I
think his principles are true.
I think that's fair. I will say, from what I've seen, I have a bunch of friends personally that have gone through the financial piece and they have benefited greatly from it. So I don't know him as
Totally.
a person. I've heard some of the stuff he says. I think in general, if you take just what he does with debt and the snowball effect, the
Oh,
psychological value of it
awesome.
is
I love that.
huge. Yeah, and I like the
I love
idea
that.
of like close.
What
Let's.
happened to your mic? Did your mic go away? You got a little quieter.
I probably did get quieter because you made me feel uncomfortable because we brought. It's the second time now we brought something political.
Why get uncomfortable?
I'm not uncomfortable.
I
I'm just
don't
uncomfortable. I'm
necessarily
just.
like his
Am I still
style.
quieter?
No, you're better now. I
Here, let
need to
me go.
hear that great voice of yours.
I can't change the volume of my output. That's probably good. That's probably Zoom protecting itself. This is this great voice that's tone deaf AF. You like hearing it?
I love it. I love hearing
I'm not ready to just, and I think there's some childhood trauma that I'm working through with a couple different counselors. That's not a joke. And I think there's like some childhood trauma of I don't voice what I think, and I actually don't feel the freedom to think about what I think. I know that sounds stupid, but growing up, I wasn't allowed to have thoughts. I wasn't allowed to say anything other than yes, sir, and I'm piecing through that. But like what do you want? I don't know. No, just tell me what you want. You don't get it. I don't know. They're like, it's
it.
McDonald's or Burger King. And you're like, I don't know. How do you
You know,
not know? What do you
you
want?
called
I
me
don't know.
last week and you asked me, you said, "Do I seem more direct?" And I said, "You absolutely seem more direct lately." And I think you were like, "Uh-oh, I hope I don't want to be." And I was like, "I kind of appreciate it. I kind of like, hey, hearing what Donnie has to say, this is good to hear."
Scary, man. It's a scary word. I am working on it. Like I really am working on it, and it's
Yeah.
hard. But I think I've always associated that with. I heard a man that I trust recently said it's possible to be firm without being an asshole. Like
Right.
that's
Yeah.
possible. And that to me was never, they were never separate. They were always the
Mm,
two matched up together. And I'm like, they call it firm, call it bold, call it like I'm putting like I'm willing to say what I believe, even if even if you disagree with it, I still am going to say what I think and what I see it as. That's never been a world for me. So we're
Donnie, when
doing
you look at this, the six contexts of leadership health, where do you look at next year and say, by this time next year, I want, which area do you want to grow in?
well. Can you say them? You said them fast, too fast for me to write down. So can you say them again?
Sure. Spiritual vitality,
Okay.
self-care, emotional and cultural intelligence, leadership and management, marriage and family, finances.
They do. They all so overlap. The two that stuck out to me right away was one and then half of the other. So the self-care and it's just I'm not I don't I pursue other people's health for them. Like I want you to be the best version of you, so I just neglect a lot of myself. Like it's just and that's not me being like, "Oh, poor Brandon, poor Donnie." It's not that's just a real like no every inch of my being is for other people to thrive. And there's issues there because I'm like the self care, not in the ooh, I'm gonna go get myself a sweet treat today because I did good. It's like it's the
Mm,
genuine like I want to make sure. That's why like I want to make sure that mentally, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, physically, I have put on the gas mask for yourself first.
hmm
I think you said that earlier. So
hmm
that one,
It's an
but then the
oxygen mask, not a gas mask.
well, if I'm going into gas, I need that too, right? So
Going into Armageddon, better put your gas mask on.
what Paraballus? What's the show you watched about?
Oh, pluribus. Gosh, it was
Pluribus?
so wild. Blew my mind.
So that one, but then and you said the emotional and what intelligence, emotional and social
Uh,
intelligence,
Cultural, emotional and
cultural.
cultural intelligence. So
I mean,
it's
I would
how
love
you
both of those.
interface with the world around you.
When I say emotional intelligence, this is I don't have the ability to like gauge my emotions, and it's not just like I don't fly off the handle. I don't have temper issues. I don't have those. I also don't feel the super high highs. Like
Mm,
I'm genuinely emotionally steady, and that's not a positive. It's because I don't let
steady Donnie.
myself. It's because I don't let myself engage with either end of that spectrum. I'm scared to go low because I saw it done poorly. I'm scared to go
Hmm
high because it quickly gets diminished. So there's this like, why allow myself to be let down and why allow myself to be, there's this. Here we are, Dickie and Donny Show. You didn't know this today. So the ability to engage emotionally or intelligently with my emotions would be huge. So I think those two are two where it's like, man, I'd love to have patterns of self care that were healthier than what they are now. I got a third kid coming any day now. So we're like real
I
close.
thought she was due January.
She's due January 20th, but she had no 3 weeks early and is measuring 3 weeks early, which is New Year's Eve. And she's starting to have a couple of the signs, like her back is really hurting and her Braxton
Oh,
Hicks contractions are getting very consistent in rhythm. And you're like, we're starting to see it. So I would be shocked if it doesn't happen before the new year, which is
holy
12 days
cow.
away. So I think like we're close. She's hopeful to
I
make
would
it through
love
Christmas.
for y'all to have a Christmas baby or
So
a
would I.
the first baby born in Bluffton in 2026.
Why? That would be the worst. That would mean we miss the tax credit by a
Oh,
second.
right.
No, I
Oh,
want the last
the
baby born in
deductibles
Bluffton
flip
in
over.
20.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
I
right.
want the last baby born in 2025. That's what I want.
I'm for that. I like that.
I don't honestly, I want a healthy baby, but if you're telling me I'm gonna have a healthy baby, that thing's coming this side of the new year.
Why don't we induce this on the 30th? This sounds great.
Yeah. So,
When I first had
um,
my son 16 years ago, I was trying to be prepared. So I called all the insurances and the doctors and I said, "Hey, my name's Dickie.
good catch.
How much is this gonna cost me?" And I could not get an answer. I swear I called 10 people.
They won't do
Well,
it.
I don't know. We'll send you the bill. I called the doctor. It'll be somewhere between $4,000 and $10,000. I called there were
For the birth.
specialists, and I got 100 bills. Well, he was in the NICU for 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. So you can imagine, just kept getting bills, and I still don't know if I paid them all or didn't pay them. I assume they all got paid at some point, but it was like, can you just tell me what it's going to cost me? Like if I go to a hotel,
No,
you
they can't.
itemize all the charges.
No,
You
they
got
can't tell
room
you that.
service, you got two nights.
You could call them now and they wouldn't tell you what it
I
cost
can't.
you in past tense.
Oh,
Like you couldn't
yeah.
do it. I know we just Noah His was about, I'm not kidding, a 4 minute birth, like from start to finish. It was, I mean, he was ready. And the delivery, because they now break it up, there's like the stay and all that, but the delivery fee, which is that 4 minutes, was
Right.
$89,000.
Oh my gosh.
And there were no
8,900?
complications. No, there were no, we didn't have to pay that with insurance, but that was the bill.
Hey,
And then it's
wait,
like
$89,000?
for that many minutes.
That's not possible.
And we didn't, with our max out of pocket and all that. I mean, I think his birth cost us 5,000 total because of what we were so close to max out of pocket or
I just
whatever.
don't. What is that? How is that even possible?
I don't know,
That's
but
an
you see
insane
it.
amount of money.
And we were looking for different health cares and private health cares, and they were like, well, we cover all of pregnancy except for the birth, but the births are usually $5,000 to $6,000. And I was like, we just had one that went perfectly with no complications, and it was 89,000. So are you? They're like, well, that's usually about double what it is for a cash payer. And I was like, so okay, I'm a cash payer and I got to pay 44,000. They're like, well, sometimes, but it doesn't always work that way. You should still go with us. And I was like, no, that was a perfect,
I am
flawless.
shook. I have no idea what to do with this information you just told. I don't have plan on having any kids
I'm
anymore.
about to have another.
The
Yeah.
ripe age of almost 43,
Well,
but
I'm 32 and I got hundreds of thousands just in cash, bro. So when they throw that $90,000 bill at me, I'm gonna be like, "Here, give me my baby," and throw in a
yeah,
cheeseburger. You know what I'm
keep the
saying?
change, you filthy animal.
Keep the change, you filthy animal. So, anyways, if you're a business owner and you make 750,000 to a million a year in revenue, but you have the desire to grow, you have three or more employees, or you want to get some employees, and you really do have a desire to clean things up and get and make a difference in and around your community and the world, please reach out to us. You can go to businessonpurpose.com. There's a contact page on there, or reach out to me or Dickie Brandon, normal spelling, Shawn, SHAWN, at businessonpurpose.com. We'd be more than happy to talk with you, meet with you. If there's something you want us to talk about on the show, please let us know. I think we've met with 4 listeners at this point that have been interested. I just worked with one the other day, built out a full
Great
compensation
listeners.
package for his team, and a lot of excitement just around clarity, right? The defense to chaos is clarity. We will bring clarity. I'm confident in that at this point. We will bring clarity. We had someone one time tell us, your stuff made me bankrupt. No, our clarity revealed to you that you were bankrupt. So maybe
Yes.
for him, it was better to not know, but that's pretty rare. So, anyways, businessonpurpose.com. Dickie, why don't you send us out with a little tune?
Do, 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 do. See you next year.
See ya.